Hello everyone, welcome back. Savard is here, coming back with part 10 of What if Deku made his own omnitrix. Now, where we last left off, Izuku has gone into the forest in the other world, of course, in the world whereas he didn't, get the parametrics, but actually had a quirk, which is, of course, the negative energy. Izuku, after going against himself and meeting with O'Neill there, the second version of O'Neill, not the real one, the old one with the black hair, he decided to go into the forest to take a rest and think a little bit about what he was gonna do next. As don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's get right into it. Now Izuku inside of course the cave inside the forest, and after that he feels something, just touching him like a weird looking stick, as he hears a sound saying, come on, wake up, young Midoriya, as Izuku opened his eyes and see in front of him a guy that looking like this, wearing a weird looking coat with a weird looking glove on his right arm. As Izuku seeing him, he get ready to fight and said, who are you? As the guy said, there is no need to fight me, young Midoriya, you can call me Dr. Paradox. Nice to meet you. As Izuku said, Dr. Paradox, how did you find me and what do you want from me? The question here is, what do you want? You. Tell me, can I understand why the hell you come back in time into this point? The point where everything has begun. As Izuku said, what are you talking about? It was all just a big mistake. Yeah, I'm sure it is, because you've done two big mistakes. First, you trusted Albedo. Second, you attacked the portal which sent you back in time here. Didn't you know, kid? Time travel is for immortals and fools. Now the question is, who are you? Are you an immortal or are you a fool? As Izuku said, what do you want from me? But are you a time traveler? Yeah, that's right, and I'm here to fix everything. Like always. First of all, I wish that you will gonna understand what I'm talking about. Instead of Tennyson, he's always, kinda don't understand half of what I talk. So it will be really nice to have someone that can understand about 75% of what I say. Alright, as Izuku said, alright. Good. Now, look, young Midoriya, you are stuck in an old timeline. This timeline, you didn't get the parametrics as you called it, which is, I needed to tell you that you are a very smart kid and you done such a great job. Aliens couldn't, copy of course, the omnitrix like you did. That's one point for you, but now the important things. You are in a world where you didn't get the parametrics, but get another kind of power, a negative power. In this world, you are kind of a split personality person. You have your own normal self, the one that want to be a hero, and the second's your part of yourself, which is, of course, just a villain. Now, you already meet it with yourself, I assume, right? But the real question here that O'Neill, the one that you meet before, or Overlord as you call him, he wanted to come back into this point of the time to kill you before you managed to kill him, which in the end, as he think, it will gonna result in him being able to come out of this weird time loop. As Izuku said, so you mean that I'm in an old version of myself, that he's actually a villain and the hero at the same time? So what should I do so I can come back into my world? Oh, that's easy. You need just to make everything go as it's supposed to be. Make, in the end, young Izuku, which is, of course, the one that, Mr. Negative, as I will gonna call it for you. The one that have the negative energy, you should make him win on O'Neill. As Izuku said, what? But can I do something about it? I can just... Sorry, Midoriya, but This is the plan. You need to stop the other O'Neill from hurting the old version of yourself. So it will gonna be kinda hard, not gonna lie. Now, let me tell you what's will gonna happen next to give you a head start. As Izuku said, what do you mean by what's happened next? Don't you remember? After 2 weeks, we will gonna start with the sport festival. As Izuku said, oh, yeah, the sport festival. Alright. And after that, Izuku sitting down in his cave, talking a little bit with the Miss Dr. Paradox or Professor Paradox. In the end, Izuku understand that after 2 weeks the sport festival will gonna start, but first of all he need to do something. He need to find someone that come back with him in the portal, not only him and O'Neill, but the third person, which is of course none other than Azmuth. As Izuku asking, of course, Professor Paradox after 1 week, telling him, "So, Professor Paradox, where should I find Azmuth?" Well, normally I wouldn't tell you, but since you are a much more smarter kid than Tennyson, I'm just gonna tell you that you will gonna find him here, as he just giving him a map of the place. As Izuku said, huh. Alright. So, but before, when he looked back at Professor Paradox, he doesn't see him anywhere, as Izuku said, Professor Paradox? Professor Paradox, are you here? Did he just disappeared? Well, that doesn't matter. I need to go and find Azmuth. After that, Izuku leaving the forest and start walking down the street to, of course, find Azmuth. In the end, he managed actually to get into the place, as Izuku said, alright, this is the place. So, as Izuku looking in front of him, he only see none other than of course, UA, as Izuku said, why does Azmuth, and what Azmuth is doing in UA, seriously? And how did he even manage to come inside? I mean, he's one of the smartest people, as they told me, but anyways, as after that, Izuku starts seeing some of this. Of course, the place is closed because as 1 week before the sport festival, as Izuku just seeing some teachers go inside because they just getting ready for the sport festival after 1 week. As Izuku immediately when he saw them, as he said, alright, I need to be as much as possible without any voice. I need to be so stealthy here. So, who should I choose? And after that, Izuku transformed into gray matter, as he said, well, that will gonna do the trick. Now, let's go. And after that, Azmuth just go into UA, and after a couple of minutes just running through the veins, he find himself in the principal office, as Izuku said, alright, this is the principal office of UA, Principal Nezu. So, if someone know where Azmuth is, it must be on his computer, as after that, Izuku, was about to come down, but he heard Principal Nezu said, so, you telling me that you are needing some help, right? Yeah, I need some help. I heard that you're school here and you are the smartest person on this planet, at least. That's good, and I might gonna need some help from you. As Izuku looking back on the person that, of course, Principal Nezu is talking to, as he see Azmuth, as Izuku said, Azmuth. So he's here talking with Principal Nezu. Well, as much as it kinda surprising me, but I should not be surprised. Both of them are just a smart people. As Principal Nezu said, so, you telling me that the Izuku that come into this school the last day that I saw him wasn't the real Izuku and he was a different one? Someone from your own timeline, right? Yeah, and now I need some materials that will gonna help me be able to build another portal. I'm just gonna take him and take the other person with me. He's a villain, so you need to be kinda make sure to not fall into his trap. He's a smart ass. So, when are we gonna find that kid, Izuku Midoriya? As Principal Nezu said, well, we are searching about him, just like you told us. Someone looking like Izuku, but not Izuku himself. As for O'Neill, we still searching and we really don't find anything about him. As after that, Principal Nezu getting a call on his phone and said, "Oh, wait a second, I have a call." And after that, Principal Nezu leave the place, as Izuku immediately jumped down from the veins in front of course, Azmuth on the desk in front of him, while Azmuth on the chair. As Azmuth said, "Who are you? Wait, you are that Midoriya kid? What are you doing here?" As Izuku said, "I'm here, so I need your help. You know, we need to fix some things, and I need your help." As Azmuth said, "And why should I help you? You ruined everything for me. You made that weird guy just... Man, you... Why all the humans on the planet Earth are just giving me such a strong headache? First of all, it was Tennyson, and now you. And not only that, but you created the Parametrix." As Izuku said, "I know that I did wrong, but if it was, I need your help so I can capture O'Neill and be able to go back into our timeline. Don't you want that?" "Alright, I'm gonna help you, but after everything well done, I'm gonna take the Parametrix from you, understand, kid?" As Izuku looking down and said, "Alright, just help me." As Azmuth said, "Cool. Now, come closer here." And after that, Azmuth just put his hand on Izuku's shoulder, which is right now known of course, a gray matter form. He immediately pressed on a button in his suit, teleporting him out of UA into his little hide place, you can say. As Izuku looking around, he see the hideout of Azmuth, and Azmuth said, "This is my hideout. I managed to hack into the cameras in Japan so I can know what's happening around the place. And I already had the chance to create another, part of the portal, but it's still not complete. Good thing that I had my teleportation device with me." As Izuku said, "Oh, great. So, now what should we do?" As Azmuth said, "Don't tell me. This is your right now we're fighting yourself, not fighting mine. Now you are the one that know what to do." As Izuku said, "Miss Professor Paradox told us to go into the sports festival of UA." Of course, Azmuth said, "Professor Paradox? Oh, of course he is here. We are traveling through time and space. Of course he will gonna involve himself here. Look, if he said that we need to go to the sports festival to stop whatever will gonna happen there, well, I think we should." As Izuku said, "Alright." And after that, Izuku in the next week, after working with Azmuth a little bit, and Azmuth actually working on his Parametrix a little bit, giving him a couple of DNAs. In the end, they go into the sports festival. Azmuth right now hiding in Izuku, of course, still hiding in the hideout, while Izuku having an earpiece in his ear, just to be able to talk with Azmuth. As right now, Izuku having his hoodie on his head and sitting down on one of the, chairs in the sport festival arena, as he just looking down, he see himself. But he doesn't see nowhere O'Neill, the other O'Neill, the one from this world, is nowhere to be seen. As Izuku said, the other one is nowhere to be seen, so there must something happen to him. Maybe it's involving the other one. As Azmuth speak in his ear saying, "Don't get distracted, kid. We are here to stop whatever this other self of you want to do. Alright?" As Izuku said, "Alright." And after that, the sport festival, complete, and we got into the final match. as President Mike said, "Well, hello everyone. The final match will be Izuku Midoriya against Katsuki Bakugo." Well, for some weird reason, the one of our students, which names O'Neill, he's kinda sick, so he couldn't involve himself in the sport festival. As after that, in the end, when the fight between Bakugo and Izuku are done, Izuku, or the other one, Mr. Negative, lose consciousness in the fight from one of Bakugo's explosion, forcing him to go into his negative form. As All Might seeing this, he immediately jumped down in front of Midoriya and said, "Young Midoriya, we have a lot to talk about." As after that, Mr. Negative said, All Might, sorry, but I think it's time to end this. As after that, he just snapped his fingers and lots of inner demons from the people around the place, just putting on their masks and taking their guns out, and some others putting them into the heads of the civilians, while the other, main team of the inner demons, including Ban and Tech, Soul, and of course Tori, and also Shinra, just jumped down by the side of Izuku. As after that, Izuku said, "Alright, I need to go there." As Azmuth said, "No, don't go there. But before he managed, of course, Azmuth to continue, Izuku just taken off the earpiece and put it in his pocket as he started running in, and after that he just jumped in and said, "Hey!" As after that, everyone just looking on Izuku, as Izuku taken down his hoodie and said, "Are you searching for someone like me?" As after that, Tori said, "It's the other Izuku. They're even cuter. He's looking even cuter than you, Izuku-kun." As Izuku said, "Oh, the other me. Nice to meet you." As All Might looking, back and forth on the both of Izuku, saying, What? How that?" As after that, Baku said, "There's two nerds now? I already was having enough from one. Two?" As Izuku said, "All Might, Bakugo, go behind me. This is my fight." As Bakugo said, "Don't tell me what to do, nerd. And how should I trust you?" As after that, before Bakugo managed to hit Izuku with an explosion, a strong beam of a purple energy hit the middle of the arena. As Izuku looking above him, he see O'Neill. As O'Neill said, "Hey Izuku, did you miss me?" As Mr. Negative looking up, he see O'Neill as he said, "Cool, this asshole. Ben, Tori, get rid of the other heroes. Tech, start the explosion sequence. And Shinra, do whatever you want. And Soul, you know what to do." As after that, everyone just nod their heads, as is, of course, Mr. Negative being left to fight, of course, against none other than O'Neill and All Might, as Bakugo has being, right now, being fighting against Soul because, just Soul is distracting Bakugo. Izuku seeing this, he immediately, before he O'Neill managed to throw another beam of laser on Mr. Negative, Izuku just immediately press on the dial of the Parametrix and transform into this, one of the newest aliens that, of course, Azmuth give Izuku some DNA for, which is Pterodactyl, as Izuku starts flying in the air and shooting laser out of his hand on, of course, O'Neill being hit by this and being thrown on the one of the chairs on the arena, as right now Pterodactyl standing in front of O'Neill and said, "Hey, we can work together so we can go back into our timeline. Why don't you help me? I doesn't want your help. I'm gonna help myself by killing him," as he pointed on the old version of Izuku, but O'Neill said, "But, killing you will be such an extra good price for me." As after that, he immediately thrown a strong beam of laser on Izuku. Izuku crossing his hand together, creating like a barrier from green energy being thrown away. After that, O'Neill started levitating in the air and said, "This is none of your business. This is mine. This is the biggest mistake of my life that I made, and I need to fix it. As Izuku said, you can't change the past. You can't change it, you know. As Izuku, O'Neil said, maybe, but I will gonna try anything that I can try. I'm so desperate now, and I need something to do, so killing you will be such a great thing to do. Now, get away from my way, you idiot! As immediately after that, O'Neil throwing a strong beam on Izuku. Izuku making a barrier in front of him to protect himself. And after that, O'Neil going at Izuku, building like around his arms like some sort of a gloves from energy, as he immediately go on Izuku to throw a punch, but Izuku using the newest ability that Azmuth giving him, he immediately transform into Frankenstrike. As after that, O'Neil throwing his punches, Izuku got hold of both of his arms and said, "Do you like my new abilities?" Azmuth was nice enough to give me the ability to swap between my aliens and at the same time be able to get a new ones. As after that, Izuku said, "Do you not want to know what's this one do?" As some electricity start flicking through Izuku's arms and through both of the big things on his back. After that, Izuku throws such a strong wave of electricity into O'Neil's body, which making him start screaming. And after that, the power just throw O'Neil back into the arena. As right now, O'Neil's vision is quite blurry because the electricity might ruin some of his, part of his bodies. As O'Neil stand up and fall on his knees as he stand up back again and said, "You idiot, because of you everything has ruined. Why can't you just leave me alone?" As Izuku said, "I can't. I need to take you back with me into the real timeline of ours. If I was going to help you, I'm just gonna have to take you in by force." As O'Neil after that said, "Oh, really? Then how about you save that person there?" As Izuku looking back, he see a kid that about to be crushed by a beam, or by a one of a big chunk of rocks that has falling from the ceiling of the arena. As the kid was going to be crushed under that, but Izuku seeing this, he immediately think fast and swap his transformation into this, as he immediately jumped into the kid and managed to save him. As he jumped back and just run away. As Izuku said, "Are you good, kid?" As the kid said, thank you." As Izuku said, "No problem. Now go find your mother. I need to fight here." As after that, the kid just ran away and Izuku jumped back into the arena. As after that, while he was about to jump in, he being immediately met with a strong beam of wave of ice, as it's just pushing Izuku back into the ground. After that, he look in front of him, he see none other than Todoroki Shoto. As Todoroki said, "You're one of the villains, right?" As Izuku said, "I don't have time for this. Can you leave me?" As Todoroki answered this with a strong beam of ice. As after that, Izuku jumped into the left and into the right, and after that, he got hold of Todoroki right arm. Todoroki, seeing that Izuku so close to him and seeing that he's a villain, he decided to save himself by using his flames. As he just engulfed his hand with the flames and immediately throw a punch on Izuku's head. After that, Izuku being thrown away by the strong wave of fire and right now on the ground, as a black substance cover Izuku's body and make him transform back into his human form. As Izuku said, "What? My time has already ended. I feel hungry." And as he look on the Parametrix, he see the Parametrix just glowing with the yellow colors, as Todoroki was about to throw another wave of ice on Izuku, but immediately before that happened, Izuku being teleported back into the hideout of Azmuth. As Azmuth said, "So, did you manage to do anything?" As, of course, Izuku said, "No, I need to go back there. Get me back there." As Azmuth said, "Don't worry, the other O'Neil has already run away. He didn't manage to kill your old version, so that's a plus." As Izuku said, "But I couldn't defeat him. I need to be much more stronger." As Azmuth said, Do you think that the hero here is the Parametrix? As Izuku said, what? What are you talking about? Do you think that if you didn't have the Parametrix, you'll be so useless? As Izuku looking down and said, I mean, it's kinda, no, you will not be. You're a smart kid. You managed to copy one of the most complicated ever technologies in this universe, and you think that you are useless. Huh. Let me tell you something. A lots of Galvans together couldn't even dream to make the same core of of course, the Omnitrix. But you managed to copy it perfectly. Not really perfectly, but at least something that managed to make you able to transform and also giving you the abilities. Now tell me, kid, you are a great one indeed. You are not useless, and I'm gonna help you so I'll be able to go back into my planet and also to get yourself back into your own planet. So to make sure that the time will not just gonna break because of us. So if you will not gonna focus on what is important here, how about you just sit down and let O'Neill kill your other self, which will gonna in the end result in you also dead. As Izuku looking on Azmuth, and he smiled a bit and said, well, I don't really know if that was a compliment or not, but thank you. As Azmuth said, good. Now, I see that your Parametrix glowing with the, of course, what they call it, I mean, you know, uh, yellow color. Well, let me see it. Maybe you will gonna get something new. As Izuku said, that one kid that called Todoroki just hit me with his fires in my face on the Parametrix, and after that it started glowing. Huh, so he looks like the Parametrix has got some of his DNA, right? As Izuku said, what do you mean by this? As of course Azmuth said, I'm just gonna tell you, let me just surprise you, how about that? As Izuku just sitting down while Azmuth start working. And this one gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, tell me what do you think about this part, and what do you think will gonna happen in the next part. Well, I have nothing more to say than Savage was here.